You're watching Every Day's a Saturday, USCC veteran. Let's go, baby. And here's your host, Brian. And what's going on, friends and family? Thank you guys so much for watching another great interview. And I'm excited for today. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of it or not, but I do produce two other podcast show other than this show itself. And I have another podcast, which is I do with my wife, which is VHS Vibes. But the other two that I produce is one's Hero Stock Nation and the other one's Sick Call with Doc. And this is how I got to get to meet my next guest. So that's kind of the nice part about being a producer is you kind of get to meet other potential guests. But I thought, he'd be really great to have him on the show to talk about his experiences and all the great things he's doing. Each and every one of us all have a different story and how our transition, getting out of the military looked like, and how we landed and all that stuff. And that's why I bring on different veterans to speak about their, about how things were for them. So that way, maybe we can learn something, right? Like each and every one of us has a different experience, and some of us might go through some very similar things, but I'm super excited to have Jessie Jones, who's a Navy veteran.
Hey, what's going on,
brother? Hey, man, welcome to the show, and we're excited to hear all about you, man. You get to shine. This is your time.
All right. Well, thank you for having me. So, man, dude, it's been great. It's been a real crazy couple of weeks. My thing is mental health. I'm a very strong advocate of it. The second thing is about suicide awareness. Our veterans are struggling right now. There is an actual issue that is going on. There are movements that are in place, but we need to do more. And there are steps in place of doing more. We got to quit relying on people. We got to stop relying on the government. Okay. I'm not saying the government's not a good thing, but I'm just saying they're kind of preoccupied right now. It's up to us. We need to do something.
We are people,
veterans,
and veterans.
We know what those individuals are going through, because I am sure that some of us have been through that. You know what I mean? Some of us have hit the end of our rope, and some of us have came back and become stronger and have triumphed over top of our mental illness. Okay. I believe what's going on is a lot of individuals that tend to go into the military. I'm not saying all of them, and it's the most honorable thing you can do, but I'm just saying for personal choice, a lot of individuals that might go in might have underlying mental health conditions that they don't understand or realize that they had. I mean, I have bipolar, okay? And I went through it all my life, okay? And it wasn't until just recently I found out, and there needs to be more about that. And it shouldn't prevent you from going into the military. It should not. But at least you can be prepared for what you're going to be going through when you get out. You understand? You get what I'm saying? You can prepare yourself. And that's my number one thing, is about mental health. I believe that's our number one issue right now.
For sure.
You can't say that after COVID that all of us are going to walk away, because we were all affected one way or another. And some have been affected in multiple tragic ways. And it's just so heartbreaking to hear the news.
Right.
Hear that. I currently work with kids. I've been promoted. Last time I was on Sick Call with Doc, I said I was a substitute teacher. I'm no longer a substitute teacher. Now I'm a one-on-one parapro for special education, special needs children. And I was asked earlier this week, how's it going? And the only thing I said to him was, compared to 3 years ago, I can't believe how I'm reacting, and just adjusting to everything, and just actually be there for these kids that need this, and at the same time I get something from it too. It's healing, because I have kids, I have a son, you know what I mean? We're trying to figure out what's going on with my son, you know what I mean? And we're going to get answers, and we love them no matter what the answer is. But what I'm saying is, I understand the struggles of that, you know what I mean? And some of the things and some of the choices that I did, I'm not really, you know what I mean? I like beat myself up afterwards. I'm like, man, dude. So to kind of heal myself from that, this is my way. I'm giving back, and I'm doing, you know what I mean? And it makes me feel better. And then when I talk to my kids, and I'm that much better, I can communicate more. I have patience. I can actually help you out with your homework and talk to you, because I've been used to talking to other kids. You know what I'm saying? And that's it, it improves communication. All right. So that's what I'm doing now. Where did I come from? That's the big question, right? Where did I come from? Well, I came from a military background. My father was a Master Chief Bosun mate. His last station was in North Carolina. He shore duty. And he ran a very strict household. I had a stepmother that was British. She was extremely strict. White glove house. And we ran it because, we needed structure. We had to have structure in the house. Uh, and my father, he could already tell, because when I was a young kid, when I was a young child, I got hit in the head with a tricycle, by my grandfather, and kind of, it didn't really mess me up, but I know that having a head injury at such a young age, it did kind of affect me, at least with a lot of my learning, until I got older, and then I was tutored on how to do it. You know what I mean? It took a
Yeah.
very long time for me to get to the level where I'm at right now, and a lot of work. Um, but what I'm trying to say is that, when you're dealing with a child like that, it's not easy. So I understand that from my parents' point of view now, being a parent. Um, and my father's number one goal was saying, okay, I love my son. What can he do? What can he do? That's the first thing he asked after my head injury, is what can he do? So he said he's going to join he made up his mind right then and there that I was going to join the Navy. So he bred me, and he structured me that lifestyle. You know what I mean? Because that's all he knew. He didn't know anything else. My father, he has his own history, but what I'm trying to say is that he didn't come from like a mom and dad household. He was raised by auntie, you know what I mean? Or grandma. You get what
Right.
I'm saying? So there was no real structure for him. The Navy was his structure. And that's why he did well, so well. I was very, very proud of my father. My father was my hero. My father still is my hero. The only issue is that, we have a kind of a scorched history that, that's unsettling. And I'll explain that here in a little bit. Um, and so that was my structure. Now, I had a brother and a sister uh, that came from Virginia, because my mother and father got divorced. And basically, my sister brother went to mom. I stayed with dad because of my head injury. And basically, my sister and brother came to California to visit us, and basically, well, that's their new home. And it's so very different, because my mother, you know, um, my late mother, she was a very free spirit, a very free spirit. She was one of the most nicest, caring, loving people that you could ever meet. This woman would give anything to she'd give you her last four she'll give you her last four out of $5. She had to keep $1 for herself, but if she had that, that's what she was. She just cared. She went out of her way for everyone. You know what I mean? That's the way my mother was. My father was a very, very strict bosun mate. You know what I mean? My stepmother was a very, very, she lived on from the streets of London. So she was fucking tough. You know what I mean? She was a tough
Yeah.
chick. That's the reason why my dad got her. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I'm not going to square away my kids. Fuck it. We'll get him. We'll get her. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying that that's what the process was, probably. You know what I mean? And it went well. I mean, it went well at first, and then basically I was at school one day, and the fucking cops came to the school, and we were escorted by the cops to fucking down to foster care and shit. And we're like, what the hell? Because my brother and sister just came home. We're finally a fun, happy family. But, because of that strict household, and I'm not saying it was wrong and I'm not saying it was right. I'm just saying what happened, word got out about how the household was ran, and questions were probably asked and answers were probably not the way they should have been. And you got the cops at the school picking up the kids. So I went off to foster care and with my brother and sister. And we had a choice on whether or not to come home. It was about 6 months, 3 to 6 months. And I wanted to go home. I missed my dad. I didn't care about anything else. I was used to the way I was living. You know what I mean? I didn't find anything wrong with it. I didn't like it.
Yeah, as a kid, you don't know any better, right?
You don't know any fucking better.
That's your home.
Just do what you're told and you won't get in trouble. It's that fucking easy, man. You know what I mean? You fuck up, you're gonna get fucked up. You know what I mean? It's the 80s when you were able to discipline your children. You can't do that anymore.
I got the belt. I got a nice leather belt. Yeah, man.
But anyway, what would happen is, so we came back, went to court, blah, blah, blah. My brother and my sister stayed with the state. I went back to my dad and we immediately left from California to Virginia. You know what I mean? It was like 3 months later after this whole event, we transferred to Virginia. And then I lived in Virginia. And I lived in Gloucester. And I kind of grew up there until I got old enough, about 13 years old, where I met my mom, and I kind of went from my dad to my mom. And that's whenever the first time my mental health was started to deteriorate at that age. I was really having issues. So they found answers and everything else. I had to go through the steps. And my mom lived so differently. You know what I mean? She was so very nice and just such a normal, what I see now as a normal household. I didn't know how to react because I was so used to living in such a strict household that I had all this freedom. So then I started getting angry. I got angry. I got mad. I was angry. I was angry at the world. You know what I mean? And I started acting out. And basically that kept going on for a couple of years. And then I went to my dad's house and my dad was like, look, right as soon as I got to my dad's house, my dad turned around and said this to me. He said, you're fucking 17 years old. You got 6 months to get your shit together, to lose weight and get your ass in the fucking Navy. Period. You don't have any choice. You're going to work with me for room and board. And that's what I did for 6 months. I busted my fucking ass for my dad. I got up every day, every fucking day, man. From sun up to sundown, man. I worked with my dad and I fucking loved it. And then my dad was working out. My dad was working out and the fucking cable snapped.
Mm.
And when that cable snapped, he fucking like something happened with his back. He slipped a disc, and then he had to go into surgery. And unfortunately, he got stuck on painkillers and shit. You know what I mean? And he kind of started going down his little loop.
So you watched that whole thing pretty much
Oh,
unfold,
dude, man,
him
I fucking seen.
change, that whole
Oh,
thing,
dude,
just a major
it's
change
fucking
in him.
god awful, man. He went from a business. He went from a fucking business owner, dude. Like a fucking his business, dude. I mean, huge business, dude. He was making fucking. He always bragged to me, man. He's like, look, you need to make a minimum of $1,200 a day and have a minimum of $100 in your fucking pocket. Period. That's what you need to go. That's the way his goal was. You know what I mean? He might not have made $1,000 a day, but what I'm saying is
Right,
that's
yeah.
what his goal was. His
Sure,
goal
sure.
was always that because he was
Ambitious, yeah.
landscaping. You know what I mean? You can
Yeah,
do that.
absolutely.
You'll bust your ass. But what I'm saying is that that mentality. And so I was working with my dad. Everything was going great. And my dad was like, he bought an old fucking, what was a 54 custom truck? Ford. Is it a 50 Ford Custom? I believe it was. It was the old. It had the old wooden in the trunk of the truck. It was wooden on the tailgate. It was wooden tailgate. So that's what year it was. And he had a friend of his that was working on it because he was living on the at the base. And my dad was like, "Yeah, you can go ahead and work on it. Sure, shit, take my son too." So, here I am supposed to be working on this car with this guy. And he was fucking drunk. I never met the guy. I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? And my dad probably didn't know either because my dad was probably drunk. You know what I mean? Because it was one of
Right.
those, it's all right,
He's
Um,
in the Navy.
he's
I mean,
in
that's
the
it there.
Navy. It's
Shit.
the
Yeah.
lifestyle, bro. I'm not trying to say my dad was a drunk, but I'm going to say that,
He's a
hey, he
sailor.
was a sailor.
Shoot.
I fucking did too, and
Yeah.
I drank probably fucking more than he did whenever he drank. You know what I mean? Shit. I'm not shaming anybody here. I'm just trying to say that basically, you know what I mean? That's the lifestyle. That was the lifestyle.
Yeah, I
And
get it.
the fucking guy, we were supposed to fucking take it out. We were supposed to take the truck out of the garage, back it in, and then back it back into the garage. So that way we could start doing some sanding. And fucking he turned around and gunned it. Now in this old truck, there was no safety belt. There's no seat belts in these fucking
Right.
trucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dashboard is fucking steel. We're talking that good shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Them indestructible vehicles, man.
Yeah, man. Well, I put a fucking dent in that fucking in the dashboard, man. I felt that fucking dent afterwards, dude. While I was all fucked up, I felt it. I was like, damn, dude. Yeah, that shit fucked me up, man. It really fucked me up. It damn near fucking killed me, man. I was in the hospital quite a few fucking days, man. And basically, when I finally got out, my
Hmm.
my dad at the time, he just retired. You know what I mean? He's on drugs. You know what I'm saying? Because he just retired. I'm not gonna say he did this while he was in the CERT. No, he retired and kind of fucking, and then
Just
basically,
make sure we know that part, though.
yeah, his girlfriend at the time fucking dumped him. You know what I mean? For good reason. I'm not gonna tell you why, but it was for fucking good reason. Any fucking woman that went through half the shit that they went through, you know what I mean? Should. Fuck it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I gotta get my ass kicked by you. Fuck you, man. I'll find
Right.
someone else. You know what I mean? And that's the way it was. I mean, that's her attitude. And basically, so you got your son in the hospital, your girlfriend just left, you just fucking retired from your job, and basically everything went into a tailspin. He lost control, and he started doing drugs, and not weed. He started actually doing some fucking drugs, because he was on painkillers. So he went from painkillers on to whatever else he was fucking doing, man. And I got out of the hospital. I'll never forget this. You know what he did when I got out of the hospital? He said, "You know what you got to do? You got to get back on the fucking horse, dude. You get in a car wreck, you know what you do? Get on the back of a fucking motorcycle and go for a ride. That's how you get over your fucking fear." And that's what we did. He took me home on a motorcycle. He's like, "You're not going to fucking fear anything. You're getting over this now." And you better believe I did, man. It was fucking great. It was the most amazing feeling because my dad just wanted to take me on a bike. He wanted to take me on a bike ride, and he fucking did. And it was the greatest thing I ever, that was the best thing I ever did with my dad. However, I finally got like $25,000 back or even more. But I know it was at least 25. And my dad, I didn't know my dad was on these drugs at the time. I didn't realize what was going on. I just thought that he was kind of fucked up from his girlfriend leaving. You know what I mean? I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, dude, I don't ever want to fucking date. You know what I mean?
Like,
So,
nah.
he turns around and fucking he turns around, takes the money, and he fucking blows it. He blows it. He blows it fucking all. Now right before he blew it, this is after I get healed up because you got to do whatever, you know what I mean? It takes about 6 months for a fucking lawsuit to clear at minimum, and plus for me to heal. So about 6 to 9 months later, after that car accident, I was joining the Navy, and during that 6 to 9 months after that car accident, my dad's life was deteriorating right before my eyes. Now it only took him 3 months to lose his job and sell all his equipment. 3 months from start to finish. 3 months, 3
Wow.
fucking months. Blew it all in 3 months. Sold
As
all his equipment for drugs, man.
for the drugs, huh?
For the
Jeez, man.
drugs. Absolutely, man. Everything. Cleared out his bank account, sold all his shit. And then I got my detailer, or not my detailer, my recruiter lived across the fucking street, literally across the fucking street from where I was at, man. How cool is that,
That's
right?
wild.
Right? Yeah, he used to play fucking guitar on his front porch, dude. He's a cool guy. So so he comes on over and he's like, "Okay, I see the situation you're in. I'm getting you the fuck out of here, man." I was like, "All right, let's go." And I went off the maps. And that was the last time I seen my dad. So my dad had all that money with a drug problem, and I went off to boot camp. You know what I mean? Things were getting really fucking bad. Really fucking
I can
bad.
only imagine. I mean, losing everything. Now he has this cash that's definitely not going towards anything useful.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what, man. I tell you what, I've been in situations with my dad at the house when I was in North Carolina that I'm not proud of. And now when I sit back and think about it, it actually fucking scares me because I'm like, holy shit, that could have went south really fucking quick. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like it was bad. Um, and that's why that recruiter got me out, and I'll never forget that, and I will be forever grateful. Um, so I go off to boot camp. Now through boot camp, I just looked at it like fucking football practice, man. And that's exactly the way it felt. Exactly like fucking football practice. You got yelled at. Sure, you get yelled at fucking football anyway.
Right.
You just
And
go
don't go
on and
home.
fucking, yeah,
Yeah.
man. And I'm so used to my dad fucking cursing and yelling and screaming at you. You know what I mean? That, there ain't nothing that these guys can say because they're limited in what their fucking language is. This isn't the Marine Corps. This is the Navy. You know what I mean? This isn't the Army. This is the Navy. And it's a different kind of thing. I'm not trying to talk down to the Navy. I'm just trying to say that the the way that it was in the 80s for my dad, what I seen and his mentality and his toughness most certainly fucking changed to now is what I'm saying. I'm not saying they're not fucking tough. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it was I don't know, man. It was just that fucking attitude, man. The fucking don't fuck with me attitude. You know what I mean? And when I went into the Navy, I was expecting that. That's exactly what I was expecting. However, the day I fucking shipped off to boot camp, there was a fucking Navy Times magazine. I just seen it arrive right on the fucking front porch, and I looked at it right before I shipped off, and it said, "This is not your father's Navy. This is not your father's Navy." That's exactly what it fucking said. And then it talked about how it was changing things. I'm
That's
not saying that
crazy.
those things, I'm not saying those things were positive or negative. I'm just saying for me, with the way that I was brought up, it most certainly fucking like changed my opinion. I was like, well, there goes my fucking 20. I ain't doing 20 years. You know what I mean? Fuck
What
this.
year did you decide to join?
I got in 98.
98. Okay.
98 is whenever I got in. I got to go. I will never forget it. I went to a Jamaican house. It was a Jamaican's family, a family from Jamaica, and it was Thanksgiving, and I had a Jamaican style Thanksgiving dinner. It was badass, dude. It was awesome. It was really fucking cool. The best experience.
What exactly does it entail? What did
It
you
was
guys eat?
it was still turkey, but it just had different
The way they
flavors.
flavored it, yeah.
The way that they flavored it,
Seasoned.
they had a
Okay.
little bit of jerk into it and everything else, and it really, really, really tasted good. It was still the standard meal because they want to make you feel at
Be
home,
traditional,
but
right?
the flavoring was different, and I really fucking enjoyed it, man. And that's what really turned me on into the culinary arts too, like different foods. So whenever I went overseas, that's what I really love to do. You know, I love to go to the bar, but I also love to go to a good restaurant and try a good cuisine out. You know what I mean? And just
Who doesn't love some
enjoy
good
it.
food? Shoot.
Yeah. So there I was in boot camp, get through boot camp. That was no big deal. I became a bosun because I really truly wanted to be like my father. I had that drive. I had his fire, as you will say. You know what I mean? I had his fucking spirit with me. And I wanted him, and I figured if I can make him proud, maybe, just maybe, it could change his ways and him actually say, you know, like, hey, maybe it was one of those things. Like I'm gonna do everything I can do to make my father proud. You know, when my father looks at me in my service in the Navy, you know, he can be proud of me, you know, and that's exactly the way I carried it. And I did my best. I did my absolute best. I fucking worked every fucking day. I was the one that held the sander, sanding the side of the fucking ship, man. Everybody used to make fun of me because I fucking did all, you know, work my ass off, but they didn't understand. They didn't understand. You're coming from a different you're coming from a different type of point of view of motivation than I am, dude. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah,
bred
for
for
sure.
this fucking shit. You might not be. You know what I mean? That was my mentality. That's the way I thought in my head, you know? Try to make sense of everything. You get what I mean? You got to try to make sense of your story. And so that was while I was in Yokosuka, Japan. And 9/11 happens. I got recalled. I was at home. It was the first time I went home on leave. I was there at my brother's house in Gloucester Point, Virginia. And I got recalled back to the ship. I had 72 hours to get back to the boat. And they got me back. They got me fucking back quick as shit. Get back to the boat. And there was this asshole second class that was on the fucking boat. I ain't gonna say his name now. I fucking should, but I'm not. Anyway, uh, he turned around and cut my lock because they thought I went AWOL. They
Oh
cut my lock
no.
and cleared out my fucking rack. They threw my whole entire fucking sea bag away, man. Here we are.
No, no.
I'm coming back with a fucking backpack with a change of underwear and a shirt because I had to get the fuck out of there, man. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have no time. I'm fucking panicking. So I get back to Japan. I don't have any fucking clothes. So I'm going to walk from the birthing space down to the supply department to get me some fucking clothes. And lo and behold, the fucking Master Chief sees me right there at the fucking weather deck and writes me up for being out of uniform. It's like, how
Oh,
the fuck am I out of uniform when I don't have a uniform because this dumb fucker threw my shit away? You know?
and
And
all the
so
times you're gonna cross paths with them. You know what I mean?
that's right. So that was my experience of that, and that anger. That's what pushed me through. And I'm not trying to whine and cry about it. I'm just saying that was my experience, man.
Right.
And so we get over to the golf. Everything, you know, whatever happens, it's good. You know, it's fucking exciting. Got to see fucking special op motherfuckers coming, dude. Badass motherfuckers, man. I mean, bad motherfuckers. I mean, everybody else is kind of a little bit nervous. And these motherfuckers are like, let's go. We're ready. You know, and they give you your first MRE when you're on the ship, you know what I mean? Or something like that. They're giving you, you know, they're like, hey, here you go. Here's your MRE right here. Hey, cool, man. Not that we, you know, it was just because they were just letting us because the new MREs came out. That was all. We never really ate MREs. We were on a ship, but it was cool that those guys gave us some. You know what I mean? It made us feel kind of cool. You know
Do
what
you
I mean?
remember any that you ate? Maybe do you remember one that you liked
Let
in
me see.
particular?
I think it was the spaghetti. The
Oh, the
spaghetti and
spaghetti one is good,
uh,
dude.
it was spaghetti. I mean, and it's the one with it was the one where you just add a little bit of water into it, and then it sets off the heater or whatever else. So
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
those
yeah.
first
You
things
you you you
when
put it
those
in the
things first
slit.
came out.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, so we all got to try them out from these guys, you know what I mean? And then it was just a cool experience, you know. It's a cool fucking experience. It was scary. You don't realize how scary it is because of what's going on. I mean, compared to what the fuck you guys go through, the Marines and shit like that, and the Army guys, you know, like I'm just saying for a sailor, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh shit is going down. Fuck yeah, you
Right.
know what I mean? You get psyched up, and all of a sudden you see bombs and all this other shit, and fucking all the action starts happening. You know what I mean? Jets taking off and coming back, or whatever else. You know what I mean? And helicopters coming back. Some of them not looking the same as when they left. You know what I mean? You're like, holy fuck, you know. And of course, they're throwing tarps over it so you don't see it, but still, you knew that there was shit going on. And I was very proud. I was very fucking proud. I was very proud of being part of that team. I was very proud of what our mission was. You know what I mean? And I was honored because, my dad got in the late 70s. So, you know, like I think 77. So like, you know, he was a desert storm veteran, you know, and my father was very proud. And then for me to be part of this right here, I was extremely proud because we had fucking actual reason. You know what I mean? At least that's what we thought at the time. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
like, and it was a good experience. Um, then I transferred. So I did all that. I did extremely well on the Kitty Hawk. I went from E1 to E5. You know, easy. Um,
You did 4 years
I
in
did
total.
a total of 5 years. So
5 years. Okay.
I made a rank almost every year. So like
Yeah.
from
No
E1
shit.
to E5. And I was very, very honored.
I know the
Very
Navy rank does get to be kind of hard, especially going into the
a
NCO.
bosun mate. Yeah,
Yeah.
when you get in a bosun mate rating, it's extremely hard because it's, you know, you have so many bosun mates. And so now it comes down to not only what you know, because I knew a lot, but politics, who you're getting along with, who you're hanging out with. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Hmm.
You know, kind of thing. And it's one of those kind of cool things. So I still did well. My last 9 months on the Kitty Hawk, I worked for MWR. Because they got new recruits that came on or whatever else that rotate through. So sometimes you go cranking for a couple of months, and then if you're MWR, you get to go for an extended period of time. They're like, hey, this guy's going to transfer out anyway. Let's keep him in MWR for this deployment. And we'll train these new recruits in. So I was with MWR, and that's where I started getting interested in events and coordinating and understanding what's kind of going on and how people are planning, behind the Wizard of Oz, the guy behind the curtain pulling all the fucking strings and shit.
Right.
So I was interested in it, didn't understand any of it, but I was very interested in it. And then I transferred from the Kitty Hawk to Bremerton, Washington on the Camden. Oh, no, the Rainier. It was the Rainier first. I was on the USS Rainier. And then on the Rainier, they were getting ready to decommission. And the reason why I went to a AOE, to a decommissioning ship, was because I just wanted to say I sailed on it, man. I wanted to say I was one of the last sailors that was on an AOE before it decommissions, because I knew that the AOEs were going from active duty to actual CivMars, civilian mariners that work for DoD. And basically, I was intrigued. I was intrigued with these guys, man. I was like, whoa, dude, what's up with this? So I transferred from the Rainier to the Camden. And then when I was on the Camden, that's where I really made up my mind that I was getting out.
Were these
You
big
know what I
ships
mean?
or were they medium size or?
They're medium size. They're larger than a fucking destroyer.
So they're
You know
no
what I mean? But
carrier,
they're
right?
not
Yeah.
nearly as big as they're not nearly as big. Yeah, I'd say like a LSD. An LSD, they're about the size of an LSD, give or take. You know what I mean? They're pretty big. They can be. It depends on what you're unwrapping with. But AOEs, yeah, man, they're fucking badass, dude. And while I was on the Camden, that's where I kind of met the MSC guys, and they were talking to us and everything else because of that cross stack from the Rainier, the can, you know what I mean? During that cross stack. And I got a bunch of information from them. They basically fucking said, you have the job, just put in a resume. And I was like, all right. And I'll do it tomorrow. That's basically my, yeah, sure, I'll do it tomorrow. So
Procrastination nation.
so then I get out. So I get out of the Navy because I have
All
it
right,
all together.
before we get out of the Navy,
Yep.
we'll go ahead and take a break real quick.
Cool.
And then that's a good segue into kind of the next thing, when you
Sure.
got out of the Navy, what, how that looked like for you and all that stuff. So stand fast, and we'll take a quick break by Utopic Nutrients.
Hey y'all, Hot Rod Wally here. Finally, a revolutionary nutrient line that puts the needs of you and your plants first. Easy to use, forgiving, tweakable, versatile, and clean. Utopic Essential Nutrients blends only the most refined raw materials, the perfect blend of plant hormones derived from kelp, along with silica and humates, makes Utopic a powerhouse plant food. From commercial industrial growers down to our beloved hobbyists. Come discover our truth at www.utopicessentialnutrients.com. Come get them.
I could say that I myself just started using those nutrients, and my plants are looking like they're on steroids. So,
I got a friend of mine. That
very much.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk to him about that because the normal product that he uses right now is kind of going out of business, and we're seeing that more and more. So maybe I will talk to him about that. It sounds very interesting and good. And I love Doc anyway, man. Doc's great.
Man, Doc, good guy. Yeah, great nutrients. But yeah, man. So let's go ahead and switch gears a little bit and talk more about you getting out, and then how was transitioning for you, and how long did it take to you get to where you are today, type thing, and what do you got going on today?
Well, I'm going to tell you what, it took me a very fucking long time to get to where I am today. But when I got out, I'm getting out and have it all together. I have it all planned out. I'm going to work at fucking Home Depot, man. Fucking, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just knew that I needed to get the fuck out of there. You know what I mean? Because there were certain things that were going on that I just could not tolerate anymore. So I got out. And basically I started hanging out with a friend of mine. And I was looking for that camaraderie because instantaneously after taps, that's where you go to is taps. And taps is like a program that you go through to get you ready.
Additional,
They tell you what you got to do when you get out.
Right.
And I
barely remember that part.
Yeah, I get out. And the only thing that happens is panic. Complete panic. Shit, what did you do? Fuck, what are you going to do? You got to get a job. You got to do something. You need to find something. And then you start wondering, I wonder what so-and-so is doing. I wonder what
so-and-so. Did you go back home to your parents' house?
I stayed in Washington. I stayed in Washington during that time. And basically I was with a serious girlfriend at the time, a very serious girlfriend.
There it is.
And when I got out, I started changing. I changed instantaneously. I changed. There was something in me that changed. I went from this strong, confident, you know what I mean? Very strong, very goal-driven, very direct individual that knew what he wanted. A very alpha male, if you will, very alpha. And I went from that to a complete fucking beta. I went from being outside all the time, driving the drive force, to a person that stayed inside his house away from fucking everybody. Complete isolation. Not even turn the fucking lights on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't watch TV because your mind's going fucking crazy. You know what I mean? You can't listen to the radio and enjoy it. You know what I mean? So what are you doing? You're just fucking, you're there. You're just in misery, this darkness, man, this whole fucking depression. It gets worse and worse and worse and worse. So then what is your answer? Camaraderie. That's what I need, is camaraderie. So you start hanging out with people that you knew in the Navy that would hang out with you. And basically what happens is you wind up drinking all the fucking time, because those are the only people that will really hang out with you, are the fucking people that drank, because everybody else is too busy with their lifestyle in the Navy. So if you wasn't in the Navy, they don't really have time for you, because it's you got watch, got fan, whatever else, man, and you start feeling alone, and you start drinking and drinking more and more and more. And that's what was happening with me. I became so dependent on drinking, man. And my outbursts, it was my outbursts that would happen. These angry fucking outbursts that would just occur, and just angry at myself, jealousy, it was crazy. It was horrible. So
you were just basically eating at yourself, huh? I mean,
eating at myself and attacking everybody else emotionally, because I didn't understand what the fuck is going on. It's not me. It's got to be you. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing behind my back? What are you doing behind my back? Instead of looking at myself saying, dude, what the fuck is going on with you, man? What is really going on inside your head? And then all of a sudden you become euphoric. You know what I mean? Complete euphoric. You'll be euphoric for a while. Hey, everything's great. Fuck it. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you get down to your deeps and blues and shit like that. So you use alcohol to kind of fucking find stability, because I didn't use drugs. I didn't smoke weed. You know what I mean? I was in Washington. I was too deathly afraid to even go outside, because I was afraid that, because they had that meth issue that was going on, and there ain't no fucking way I'm getting around that, especially after what my dad went through. Right. You know what I mean? I'm not saying my dad was on meth. What I'm saying is that just the drugs, I didn't want to be around that shit.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And so complete isolation, man. And My girlfriend at the time, she got tired of it. You know what I mean? She got tired of it. So she started doing her thing.
Hmm.
And then my friend Campos came by, who's a star swimmer, and he tapped me on the shoulder and he's like, dude, I'm getting you the fuck out of here, man. You need to go. You need to go back to sea, dude. You got to go back to sea. So that's what we did. I went back to sea, got me in. His wife helped me write my resume. He turned around and contacted and helped me out. He went out of his fucking way and basically held my hand and just said, hey, I'm going to help you out, dude. Because there was no way in my state of mind during that time for me to be able to fucking comprehend shit. You know what I mean? I was a fucking nervous wreck. I was a fucking loose cannon, dude.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And then MSC picked me up and it went away. It went away. All that shit went away. So I was underway.
You were like a fish out of water, man. Once
I was drowning, man. I felt that I gave up on my father's heritage. I felt I gave up on my father. You know what I mean? One of the last things my dad ever told me was, you have the watch. And here I am leaving after 5 years, which means that, you still have fucking 14 fucking years to go, man. What are you doing? Why are you leaving early, man? Fucking pussy. You know what I mean? That's the way it felt to me. You know what I mean? That he was saying to me. And I was beating myself up over it. I was beating myself over every fucking day, man. And then I found out a friend of mine, I'm not going to say who it is, went to shore duty overseas and got fucked up, man. Got really fucked up. And it's really fucked up now. I talked to him just to make sure that he's cool, but you know what I mean? Because his mental illness deteriorated so much and his codependency fucking just escalated so much to where he's fucking gone, man. And we're not talking weed.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's that type of unhappiness and that type of unsettlement that just disturbs me. So I sailed with so here you go. So I come back after my first deployment in MSC. I was gone for a total of 6 months, including schooling, where I knew something was going up. I knew something was going on, but it didn't really. It was too stupid. I fucking come back 6 months later, dude, and I found out my girlfriend was fucking pregnant. Right? Not by me either. And
you've been gone 6 months. She's 3 months pregnant.
Man, dude, come find out. It's like 5 fucking dudes. You know what I mean? And you're just like, holy shit, man. So
Jerry Springer show there, bro.
Yeah, man, that shit fucked me up in my head, brother. So what I turned around and did was that shit fucked me up, man. That shit hit me so hard, and it's just
you were into
I was
this girl.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice girl, everything else. She's this innocent chick, and fucking nah, she's not. She is around you.
Right.
It's completely different when you're gone. So yeah. Anyway, so I was underway, and I dealt with that issue, and I just kind of worked my way through it. And that's when I met, about a year two later, you know what I mean? I met my wife, and we were on the ship, you know what I mean? And changed my life in MSC. We met in MSC.
Met on the ship, yeah.
Well, we met on the ship. She asked me out on a date. She asked me. I didn't ask her.
Damn, right.
She
were ready.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, let's go. Yeah, sure. We're just gonna be friends. You know what I mean? Just whatever else, man. So she was a sailor and I was a sailor. So I mean, it was one of those things in where, fuck yeah, this is perfect. We're gonna make some fucking money now. You know what I mean? We're gonna be all right. And not only it's not about the money, but it was because the camaraderie. Not only do you have a wife, but you have someone who sails. You know what I mean? That
understands.
Yeah. You know what I mean? That understands who you are. So I was figuring that every sailor was acting the way that I was acting. Does that make sense? Because my father acted very similar. So it was one of those things. I just figured that everybody acted this way. So that I acted the same way.
Hmm.
Come to find out, it's not the fucking right way of doing things. You're fucked up. You got to go find out what's going on. So what I did was I got out of MSC because we wound up having 2 kids, 2 awesome kids. Life just got too crazy. There was an incident that occurred that kind of changed me forever. It really fucked me up. It really fucked me up in the head, dude. So I came home and, you know, I seen something I didn't like, and paranoia, instant fucking paranoia. You're fucking hitting, you know, you're trying to get with blah, blah,
Really?
blah. You're trying to get with my wife, dude. You know what I mean? And normally we know the unwritten code. You don't fuck with someone else's wife. You know what I mean? Especially if you're a fucking sailor, dude, because you're not only fucking with me, you're going to be fucking with a crew. You get what I mean? It's one of those things, you know. I'm not saying that I do that. I'm just saying that it's
Sure.
that kind of man fucking-tality. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
So when that happened, it really fucked me up in my head. It was that paranoia. It was that anxiety. It was all the shit that was happening around me that I'm trying to make sense of what is going on inside my fucking head, and I can't understand what's going on.
Mm.
So drink another fucking beer, you'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Hey, drink another fucking 6 beers. It'll fucking, you'll figure it out in 3 weeks. And I wound up going, so get out of MSC, okay? And I wound up at home during that time for about 3 to 5 months. I was at home. And at first I was adjusting pretty well. But then shit, that drinking, it was the drinking. The drinking started getting out of hand. So my wife and I looked up Crowley Maritime. That's where I worked at, was at Crowley. Wonderful company, absolutely amazing company. If you're a mariner and you're looking, you know, and if you can get into Crowley, get there, man. It's that they are family, 100 fucking %, dude. It is one of the most professional and friendly companies out there. The best company I've ever worked for, period. The best. And anyway, so I got picked up by Crowley as a during this transition in MSC. After I met my wife and I, when we had our son, I said, okay, I'm going to get my license because you're not going to be able to sell anymore. I'm going to have to get my fucking license now. I'm going to have to become an officer because if you can't do it anymore, I have to take the wheel. And you know what? I've always wanted to be a fucking officer anyway, so why not? So I did. I went to school, studied my fucking ass off.
Nice.
My wife, we played games of studying and shit. She taught me how to do it, you know what I mean? And we just had a lot of fucking fun doing it, man. It was phenomenal. It was such a good time. And it brought us together too. And she got to feel real important too, because she's helping me, you know? And so I go take my test, you know, get my license, whatever else. And I start selling as a third mate. My first fucking watch as a third mate, man. You know, I was in college. I wrote a paper about my first fucking watch. It's called Sink or Swim.
Oh shit. Oh
My
shit.
first fucking watch, man. I'm in the Persian Gulf. There's fucking Dows everywhere. And here I am. I'm just like, and you see CPAs everywhere. Closest point of approach of zeros all fucking around you, man. I call up my captain. I'm like, Captain, what do I do? He's like, well, come get me. You know, come get me whenever you do blah, blah, blah. When you figure it out, man. You know what I mean? Sink or swim. You know, it's like, all right, fuck it. We're going to do this. You know what I mean? We're going to fucking do this. And I got through it. You know, that was my, basically my first fucking, I mean, it wasn't a test, but it was my test. And I called the people that I was supposed to call and everything. You know, I followed the chain of
Did
command.
the protocols and all that?
Yeah, of course, you know, and it was okay. It was, in other words, it's just a basic fucking maneuver. It was just my first fucking basic maneuver on watch. It wasn't like as if I was put in a dangerous situation. It was that I was never used to it and I wasn't exposed to it because I only stood watch. It's a lot more different standing watch than it is standing fucking watch as a watch officer, man. There's a lot
Yeah,
of shit
yeah.
going on, you know? So that's what opened my eyes. And I fell in love with the fucking job. I fell in love with it. And I really enjoyed it. I was good at it. Just professional, very professional. And then we had our second son. Now life starts getting a little more complicated because my wife and her family run a business. So Michigan's your home. I'm in fucking Virginia. You know what I mean? So like, there's no fucking way.
Because the
It's not
doc's right there. Yeah.
yeah, there's no fucking way because when you're an officer, that's what you are. You're a professional. You're staying on the boat. It's either you move locally or you're married to the boat. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things. I'm not saying you can't rotate. That was my mentality. You got to remember.
Right.
And so it became too much for me. I couldn't handle it, man. You know, you get tired of not seeing your wife or seeing your wife maybe for one day out of fucking 3 months. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, dude. Because I'm trying to make rank. I'm trying to make money so that way I can provide for my family. So you have to fucking
Stay
do what
there.
you do
Looks
until
like
you
you're
make money.
married to it. Yeah.
Right. So we get through that. Crowley picks me up from there because I resigned. And Crowley picked me up about a couple months later. Fucking loved the job. I was a training mate, learning how to drop wire. I was trained by some of the best wire handlers in the Navy and at Crowley. And I took my job very seriously, very good at it. I never had any incidences. And I trained quite a few people that became really successful captains and or chief mates now, currently. So, I mean,
crazy.
I feel very, very proud of myself for that. There was also, but so I go from training mate to second mate. And then from second mate, that's where we did a lot of hurricane release and a lot of hurricane avoidance. And there's a lot of hurricanes that affected islands out around in the tropics. So we did that. And I put him for my chief mate and I made chief mate.
Yeah.
So I was a first officer. And I did very well at that too. I ran a ship very smooth. Crews loved to be on my ships. They knew that if they knew I was a chief mate, fucking everybody was happy. You know, captain didn't have to worry about it because I took care of all the paperwork. Guys didn't have to worry about it because I was a fucking cool guy. Just do your job. Do your fucking job. That's all I expect you to do is do your job. You don't do your job, next port, you're off. Period. I don't care. I want to hear it. You do it once, and I tell you once to do it, blah, blah, blah. And everybody followed those rules, man. You know what I mean? And it was good. It was a great experience. You know, I was doing very well, making an astonishing amount of money too. And so everything was going great. And then I get a fucking actually a Facebook message from my sister that I didn't hear from for like fucking years, man. I haven't heard from my sister any fucking ever, dude. And
Wow.
I got excited and angry and happy all at the same time. And it just escalated and ate at me more and more and more and more and more. And I reached out to someone. I tried to talk to a person over the phone about the incident, you know, about this. The motherfucker fell asleep on me. You know what I mean? Like, thanks a lot, man. You fucking asshole, you know?
Oh, damn.
So like So that right there set me into a fucking whirlwind. Now you have that's the fucking spark you needed to ignite. When that happened, that was too much for me. And just my head just went blah, and just complete meltdown state, man. Just everything came back to me all at once.
Sit you down on a little bit of a spiral, or?
Yeah, man. I think I was going on a downward spiral the whole fucking time, but it was extremely fucking slow. You know what I mean?
Hit the bottom.
Yeah, and then then all of a sudden you fucking realize, oh shit, you're about ready to hit bottom, and then that's when that's the spark that sets you off. And I'm gonna tell you this: I haven't been the fucking same since. I haven't been the same since. Now, this is my personal issue. This isn't anybody else. I ain't saying this is anybody else's fucking issue whatsoever. This is my issue. And it's no one's fault. You know what I mean? I'm not pushing the blame on someone or something or anyone. This is my issue.
Yeah.
That I'm dealing with. And I resigned because I went into a fucking manic state for 5 fucking days. 5 fucking days I was going through a manic state. I didn't even realize it, man. Everybody was scared to fucking death on that boat. Everybody.
Because you just were losing your shit.
I was just fucking losing my fucking shit, dude. I said, I'm getting the fuck off the boat. Because when I left port, we were fine. But then when you get underway, it sets off. Now you're in a manic state. Now you're 5 days to get to fucking port, 5 to 7 days if you don't have shitty weather. And the whole entire time, I slept maybe fucking 3 hours, 4 hours. You know what I mean? Like just completely unhealthy and not my standards, because I yell at people for that type of behavior, for not talking to someone. And I didn't fucking tell anybody, man, because I thought I could handle it. You know, I'm a Navy man. You know, my dad's a fucking Master Chief. I don't fucking need no help, dude. Fuck you. You know what I mean? I don't need to talk about my feelings. I don't need anybody. I'm fine. And you could see what happened. It popped. And it was horrible, man. It was the worst fucking feeling. And then I came home and my wife thought I was on drugs. And like, so then all of a sudden you start having family issues, and it just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse.
Everything was just piling on, huh?
Fuck it, man. I was like, fuck it, dude. So that's when I got into my suicide planning stage. Okay. I got into my suicide planning stage. And yeah, man. That's the first time I actually said something like that. I said something like that a little bit, but not like that. This is the first time I actually said that out loud right there.
Nice. Well,
got into my fucking
talk about it.
Yeah, I got into my suicide planning stage at that time. And I was just waiting for the proper fucking timing, like when my family left or whatever else, when I had that fucking opportunity into where it would lessen the blow for them. You know what I mean? And that's when I started getting into my extremely deep, dark depression. And that's when my wife put her fucking foot down. And she said, I didn't tell my wife this either. Kept this all to myself. And she turned around and said, there's something not right with you. There's something going on. I don't know what the fuck it is, but we're going to get you help. So she took me to, the first thing she did was she took me to my doctor. She got a urinalysis done. Very first thing, got to make sure you're clean.
Make sure you're not doing drugs.
You're not on drugs, all right?
Did so you know your family history on all that and all that stuff too?
No, because I learned that while I was at the center.
Right.
That's where all the answers started coming out.
Sure.
So I got the answers. Now I took a urinalysis at my doctor's, my pharmacist, my physician. And then after that, she set up another appointment for a doctor that had a special fucking degree and shit. You know, like there's like one in fucking the specialist you have to drive to, whatever else. So I go check this guy out, man. He just looks at he's like, well, you might have this, you might have that. Still no answer, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden I come back, gives, you know, no medications are done. And then my wife says, fuck it, I'm taking you to the emergency room in fucking Grand Rapids. We're going to go to the mental health facility there. We're going to go fucking get you analyzed. I walk in, within 5 fucking minutes, they fucking at least got you in the fucking box of diagnosis. They're like, yep, you're bipolar 2. You're going through a manic state right now.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like this is what these are.
They've obviously dealt with it before a couple times.
Yeah, it's like holy shit. Okay, you know what I mean? And during this time, I'm still not. I haven't told my wife, you know, any of this shit. And then my wife finally takes me to the emergency room afterwards, and that's when the nurse asked me about that. And I said, yes, I got tired. I was like, yeah, man. Yeah, I have been. And right then and there, man, they took action, man. And it wasn't like scary or weird or any kind of fucking, they didn't make you feel weird at all. It didn't make me feel weird at all. It made me feel love and compassion and talk to me smoothly, calmly, and just try to take your mind off of things and just, hey, it's not that bad. And hey, let's talk about the sports game real quick or this funny thing real quick. That's what the nurse did.
Trying to just,
you know,
get you
cheer
out of
things
different,
up in a shitty situation. So I had a counselor that came on down. This counselor comes on down, talks to me, tells me where I'm going. And then she gives my wife a fucking gas card. Gives my wife a gas card. So that way she doesn't have to spend the, you know, it's all taken care of. So I didn't have to go in an ambulance or a fucking truck or a fucking stray jacket, man. No, it was my wife dropping me off in a comfortable way. And then when I went to the facility, I have never slept so much. My first fucking 2 days, all I did was sleep.
Wow.
I could not, because of the medication. But I slept for fucking
They
2
amped
days.
you up a little bit, huh?
Yeah, the 2 days I slept so fucking, oh man. Then I woke up and I was just like, I was out of it, you know, kind of thing. And then that's when I started learning about some things and learning about myself and learning about, you know, different types of triggers that you have and how to kind of, it's not the full answer, but at least you can see what is going on, you know what I mean? And then you could take steps to prevent that from escalating. So if you're going to get agitated, instead of fucking staying there, man, just say, hey, man, I'll be right back. And then go do something, go do whatever else, and then come back to it. You know what I mean? Instead of standing there, sticking through it and fucking setting yourself off. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just have to take a break. I'm being occurring like in a stressful situation. Like, let's say if I'm dealing with my son, who can be extremely difficult. And instead of just staying there arguing, sometimes it's just better to fucking walk away. You know what I mean? He's a kid. You know, you don't need to argue with a fucking kid. You know, and he's a teenager, so you're not going to go into fucking detail with a teenager because a fucking teenager knows everything. So you're only going to piss yourself off. So you have to learn the tools to be the bigger man, to not be yelling and screaming and all this other shit, because that's what was happening. I was yelling and screaming and hollering and hooting and fucking all this other fucking shit and accusing and just horrible, man. Just horrible fucking shit. My world was caving in on me. So when I was in this facility, they kind of taught me how to identify it and calm that storm down. The only problem was I was on 3 or 4 different types of medications at the time. And granted, my pain of my mental pain, which I was fucking feeling every day, it was fucking torture, man. That shit's fucking torture, man. It hurts. It physically fucking hurts.
Yeah.
You know, and that pain was gone, but dude, I couldn't fucking function, man. I was like a walking fucking zombie. I gained 35 fucking pounds. You know what I mean? Like and it was like overnight. It was like, here, take a pill. Boom. You know what I mean? overnight, like in 1 week, I gained 35 fucking pounds, dude. No fucking shit, man. Maybe
Wow.
1 or 2 weeks, but a shit ton, man. My pants
Sure.
fucking shrunk on me, man. Just it was god awful, man. And so
That's not making you feel any better at that point in time about
no, it's
things,
not.
right?
But my pain was a lot. But although the pain was gone, that's all I cared about during that moment. I didn't care about anything else. I was just like, man, thank God that shit's over with. Okay, let's keep going on with this program, and I went through it, everything else, and I got tired of it. I got tired of it. I got tired of fucking taking medication, trying to feel normal, and not being able to find a fucking job. I was tired of it. I was applying for jobs, and then when I got hired for a fucking job, I'd fuck up, do something stupid, get fired. It's completely fucking stupid. Why'd you do that? That was the dumbest fucking thing to ever do. Why'd you do that? But it was one of those things. I didn't give a fuck, I was like, fuck it. You know what I mean? It's and then again, you would work for like contractors. So local electricians or local electronic technicians or whatever else, they'd fucking rip you off, or if you're not working fast enough or not doing exactly what you're wanting them to do, they fucking make you feel stupid, And it's like, dude, I'm not fucking stupid, dude. You can't communicate, bro. You know what I mean? And it's just that type of atmosphere that I was around for a long fucking time. And I fucking hated it. I couldn't stand it. I hated it. So what I did was I started smoking weed. I started smoking fucking weed. I cut back on my medications and I started smoking weed. Well, you shouldn't smoke weed when you're on that medication. Okay. Done. No worries. You know what I mean? But you still have to take your bipolar medicine. You have to take your bipolar medicine, man. You have to. You have to take your stabilizer. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. If you're bipolar, you have to take your fucking mood stabilizer. Period.
You miss one, it will fuck it up. I mean,
It will fuck you up, man. Because it only take it'll start it. It'll fucking start that thinking process, man. If you're not careful, dude, if you're thrown into a stressful situation and you don't have your medication, man, you
it
never
fuck you up
fucking know
all
what's
over
going
again.
to happen, man.
Yeah.
It might be normal, but then all of a sudden you become complacent because you know what? I was normal last time. I'll be normal this time too, and this time, and that time, and this time until you're not. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
you feel the difference. And then on top of that, when I got out of the facility, it was a difficult, embarrassing transition. I was embarrassed. I was really embarrassed. I felt ashamed. I was like, man, dude, I felt really embarrassed and shamed around my community, because word gets out. And that's why I don't give a fuck no more. I really don't care. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit. Because I know during that time, I said, you know what, man? I'm going to fucking start writing some songs. I'm going to actually start writing some fucking songs that make sense. And some of them do, and some of them don't. But that's what really got me into music. That's what really said, I want to step this up one level. I really want to step this up and make this at least people understand my emotional experience kind of thing and how
It's
I'm
your way to
expressing.
express yourself, I guess.
Right, my emotional expression. And hopefully, I'm not saying for you to listen to my thing. What I'm hoping is you listen to it and then you learn how to fucking do it yourself. You
Right.
get what I'm saying?
Sure.
That's why I'm doing it, is to show you can do this. And I found it therapeutic for me. So if I found it therapeutic for me, dude, try it out, man. Do it. I've never taken a fucking lesson in my life, man. So don't tell me, oh, well, I've never taken a lesson. I can't play guitar. Oh, I can't do this because I never can play guitar. No, dude, it's either you want to play guitar or you don't. If you
Right.
don't want to, that's cool. But if there's something that's inside your head that you want to learn to play, quit making excuses and pick up a fucking guitar. You know what I mean? Go find one. So anyway, and I'll make another note about that guitar thing here later on in the podcast. So that's my lows right there, right? So how the fuck did I get myself from the lowest point of my life, get answers, and then fucking get to where I'm at right now, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The way I did that was I stripped myself of everything. I broke myself down to nothing, okay? I set aside my fucking ego. I put aside everything. You know what I mean? I never thought of myself as a sailor anymore or a veteran anymore. I just broke myself down to a bare fucking minimum as a human being. And then when I did that, it really opened up my eyes to what was going on around me a little bit and about, like what I really wanted to get into, which is basically I want to get into, I love mental health, but at the same time, I want to make sure and ensure that our community in the future is not only thriving, but also witty and charismatic. And how do you do that? You get involved.
Yeah.
You ensure, you know what I mean? So I started substitute teaching at the time. You know, and this is after everything was stabilized. This is after, I talked to my therapist, after my psychiatrist, after everything. This is a long time going and everything else. So then I go into a substitute role. First fucking day, major anxiety attack, huge fucking anxiety attack. Didn't really say anything the whole entire day. You know what I mean? Still did it.
You just felt it. You
Overwhelmed, over
Yeah.
fucking whelmed. But then the teachers came on by, checked up on me, talked to me, everything else. They were really cool, really, really awesome. And then the next time it got a little easier, little easier, little easier, little easier. You know what I mean? 3 years worth, little easier, little easier, little easier, little more. Then on my third year of doing of substituting here and there, on my third year, I decided to go to a school and say, I'm going to try this out. I'm going to give it 2 weeks. And I tried it out and I fucking loved it. I fucking loved it. I just loved it. I can't explain, dude, because you're busy.
Yeah.
You're busy the whole fucking day, man. You know what I mean? You're just doing this and doing that and doing that. There's never a boring moment. There's never a dull moment. You're just on the fucking go the whole entire time. And then at the end of the day, you get a sense of accomplishment because you know what? You helped a person do a math problem, or you had a person that normally wouldn't sit still for 10 minutes to complete a whole entire math page of problems, and they did it because you helped them. That right there is the true, you know what I'm saying? That's what I've learned on this trip as well too, is it's just healing, man. I love it. I enjoy it. And I've been accepted. You know what I mean? Not only by my not only by fellow, but by the individuals that work there, but also by the students. Because my kids also go to that school too. So you know what I mean? It's one of those things. And it's you're carrying a sense of pride. Now, am I going to do this forever? I don't know. I'm doing it now. And I'm learning something from it. Now, in the meantime, while I'm doing this, I was kind of like talking to some people about some events, just bullshitting with them about events because I got tired of not having any events near me because I live out in the middle of nowhere. And usually you know, there might be an event, but it's once a year kind of thing. And then you have to get, you know, I got tired of that. I was like, man, I ain't doing that shit, man. You know what I mean? I don't need to kiss your ass to fucking be able to perform. Fuck that, man. I'm going to do my own fucking thing. I'm tired of this shit. You're not running a monopoly on me. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to do that. So I'm just going to create my own thing. So I go to Mount Pleasant, right? And I go talk to a guy. I never talked to, I just randomly off fucking Facebook talk to this guy. Drive out to Mount Pleasant, which is about hour and a half away from me. And we have a conversation. And the guy said, yeah, I'm getting ready to throw an event. I want you, blah, blah, blah. We'll start doing this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, all right, cool, man. So that's how I started getting involved with that. Now, because I talked to him, that's how I wound up meeting Doc. You know what I mean? That's how I wound up talking to whoever else and talking to whoever else. And now all of a sudden you're in this Facebook group and this Facebook group and that Facebook group, man. I went from having 320 friends to over fucking almost damn near 3,000 fucking friends in 4 fucking days, bro. 4 fucking days, man. Can you believe that shit? It blew my fucking mind.
It's amazing how talking to someone like that could just change that kind of trajectory, right?
Just completely snapped me the fuck out of it. And I was like, hell yeah, I want to do that. You know what I mean? So I followed this rap group. That's what I'm calling it. Is just a genre, the whole entire genre around from various areas and locations. And I'm doing that until around April 5th is my last time that I'm doing that because that's the primary event that's happening in Detroit. And then I'm switching genres and I'm going from like rap to jam bands. So it's kind of going to be cool, man. So I'm going to be checking out varieties of jam bands and kind of like the same thing with rappers, you know, just different genre. And then I'm going to go from jam bands after I get tired of that to rock bands. You know, or whatever, classic rock, hard rock, whatever. Because by then I'll have a better picture of what I'm doing. So that's what I do now. What got me into this? I was at a fucking pig roast, man. I was at a fucking pig roast playing guitar, and there was a lady there that heard the guitar and said, hey, I'm starting up a nonprofit organization. It's called Harvest of Kindness. I want you to be the event coordinator. I was like, okay, I've never fucking done that before, but okay, sure, man, I'll fucking do it. And Harvest of Kindness, basically what it is to end homelessness, period.
Nice.
Homelessness.
Yeah, good.
All right. That's what they want to start a farm, self-sufficient farm, self-sustaining, everything else. It's a beautiful project, beautiful message, just beautiful everything, man. I strongly still support it 100%. But I was too focused on veterans. So when I went out, I would talk to veterans. When I went to this, I would talk to veterans. When I do that, I talk to veterans. I do blah, 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 blah. You know, always about veterans. And when I talk to people about Harvest of Kindness, I went from all to veterans. And they didn't like that. So they were like, boop. And I was like, cool, that's fine. I'm a little heartbroken, but that's not a big deal. And then I met there's another nonprofit organization, and they scooped me right the fuck up, dude. So I'm back doing event coordinating for these guys. They're really cool, and I'll have more information on that down the road when they get ready to do a fundraiser.
Nice.
So that's kind of how that escalated into that. I'm always looking for musicians. I'm always looking for different types of artists. I know earlier we were talking about suicide awareness and everything else. You know, it's just like what I said on Sick Call with Doc. You know, my name's Jessie Jones on Facebook. My name's Jessie Jones, JESSIE JONES. And I got a big blue emblem on there. You'll see me on stage with blue lights. And You know, if you don't have anybody to talk to, man, reach out to me, dude. I'm here. You know what I mean? I might not have the answers, but at least I'll listen to you. You know what I mean? If you're an artist and you don't think your song's good, you know, like you want to know, or you don't think your song's good enough, or you kind of want a second opinion, or you're doubtful, you know, send it to me. I'll check it out, dude. I'll let you know I got honest opinion, man. You know, I'm not going to be mean to you. You know, I'm not going to be mean to you at all.
Well, constructive criticism.
Constructive, exactly. It's going to be 100% professional. And if I think it's even halfway decent, I'll send it to a producer and I'm going to say it nicer than a producer will. Okay. I'll be a lot nicer than a producer does, because the producer is just like, "No, that shit, go away." I'll at least say, "Hey, man, you know, hey, dude, it's good. Hey, you sound great." You know,
You're thinking it sounds like shit, but you know, we can make it better.
right, exactly. Keep plucking around on it. So now that's what I'm doing now. Currently, you know, I started off as a substitute teacher. Now I'm actually getting information now on how to get certain certifications that I want to get, because
Right.
there's actual things that I want to do to help people, not only kids, but people. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because you learn how to. The reason why you want to help kids is because, dude, they're fucking innocent, man. They didn't do anything wrong, dude. They're just around their environment. You know what I
Sure.
mean? And I know my kids. My kids were around a fucking, not a rough environment, but rougher than a perfect family. You know, no family's perfect. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that, you know what I mean? It's not 100% perfect, but I know that for my kids or my grandkids, I will be that much better of a grandparent. I will be that much better of a grandfather to my grandkids. I will be able to be some form of a role model for someone. You know what I mean? And the one thing I do not like is how sometimes I am viewed for smoking marijuana. I do not like how people look at you and villainize it, not understanding how healing marijuana can be, especially if you just use it, don't abuse it, and if you actually have some form of therapy behind it, whether it's talking, verbal therapy, or whether it's actual emotional therapy such as music, or even better, the combination of fucking two. You talk to your counselor, or you talk to your psychologist, or whoever else you talk to help you identify what the issue is. Then you're able to play music and really express yourself any way you want, and word it any way you want. And if you like it, you can keep it. And if you don't like it, don't fucking worry about it, man. Just move the fuck on. You still got your idea out. You still got you still have your energy source that's out there. And that's why I put marijuana and music together. You know, I do that because in my darkest days, you know what I mean? Even when I was on my suicide fucking planning stage, even when I was there, what prevented me from fucking escalating from that was music. Hands down, fucking music. When I got out years later and everything else, I used marijuana to for the combination to help heal, you know what I mean, kind of thing. And it's worked. It works for me. You know what I mean? I just don't like how people like, oh, you're a pothead. So
And
what?
that's the one thing I feel like it gets weaponized against people. Like
No.
as soon as someone finds out that you do that, it
Yep.
becomes the center of everything as to why you didn't do something, as to why this is wrong, or if you messed something up, it's automatically because you
Yeah.
smoked weed. And I mean, you know, and that's the thing that I think that's why, like, Sick Call with Doc is a great show. It's trying to normalize and educate, and let's bring
Absolutely.
in the family members and other people as well, because what starts to happen, right, especially in the veteran world, is once you start to feel judged by a group, you don't want to go around that group anymore. You really don't. Like, you start to shy away. So now you're wondering, why doesn't he want to go to family functions? Why doesn't he want to go to this or that or the other? It's because he can't do what is helping him cope and get through life.
Without you
Now,
giving them shit.
yeah, now he goes somewhere and he's got to be sitting there on paranoid alert because he's worried that someone around him is going to know, or she's going to know, him or she's going to get found out because they look like they're high or something. So they have that whole mentality. Because I mean, dude, I've been there my whole entire life too.
Right. Yeah.
Where until I finally hit that point in life where I said, you know what? I really don't care what others thinking about me anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to answer for me one day. And I really don't, I don't need anybody else's approval. And I myself know what I can do and what I cannot do when I am high. I don't need someone else telling me this, that, and the other. Right.
Yeah, so, I disagree with I disagree with some of the psychologists with their thing about medicine and marijuana. I disagree with it. I believe that if you use it, and as long as you don't abuse it, you can be functional. You can. You most certainly can. It's when you cross that line. It's when when you cross the line, and it's just like with alcohol, right? You start off with a 6-pack. Next thing you know, you're on a 30-pack. You're not going to be able to function on a 30-pack, dude. You know what I mean? But I mean, if you had
it comes down to a lot of it is self-control and the ability to know what you can and cannot handle.
Right.
Hey, bro, if your ass gets fucked up after 2 shots and you are inebriated and you can't talk and drive, nothing or whatever, don't do 2 shots.
Right.
Don't do 2 shots, bro. Like you sometimes,
or just wait till Friday.
We don't understand. That's the part about us human beings is we don't know how to just be okay with, in between something. We either got to go really hard on it or not at all on it. Sure as hell. Like we really live that lifestyle. That lifestyle ain't really fucking demon out to work so well for everybody.
But I will tell you this: the cannabis world. They are some fucking cool fucking people, man. I mean, I'm in friends groups with fucking all sorts of cannabis people everywhere. I mean, from the fucking straight up don't give a fuck stoners to the actual professionals that actually have reason, cause, purpose, everything else, man. You know what I mean? Like,
it's crazy that that little plant itself can bring so much people together, right? And then it could actually open up conversations too. I've heard a lot of stories of relationships that weren't good, and then they put weed in the middle of the relationship, and it opened up the relationship because now they can talk to each other and they once they're on that level, so to speak, together, now they have that ability to feel comfortable.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of healing measures to it, right? And I think that the bigger picture of everybody wanted you to look at it as this is bad, this is a drug, and you are useless if you do it, and starting to paint the stigmata out of the, like we're painting all the horrible things that this does, you know what I mean? And we're all sitting there looking at this thing and buying into it for the longest while because, dude, you get enough people to start speaking about something, you're going to make everybody else believe it enough. When you start like 100 people all like, oh, yeah, then the 101 and 2, 3, I mean, it's just going to be so on, right?
Yeah,
we're very much like that as humans.
Sure. So through the cannabis world, I got a big shout out to Vets Grow for Vets. Huge shout out to those guys. I love what you do. Support you. fucking,
I'm new to that group, and
yeah,
I definitely like what I
fucking love
see.
'em.
So yeah.
You know what I mean? You have Two Bros Guitars. That's my buddy Andy, man. He's lives in Ann Arbor, Michigan, or not Ann Arbor. I'm sorry, Dearborn, Michigan. That's where he is from. He's a great individual doing great fucking things. I'm actually now an administrator on his Facebook page. He just officially did that today. And
Dang, you
basically
got some responsibilities now.
so here's what Andy does. Andy puts together guitars. All right. He puts together the guitars. And then during special events, I and Andy meet in Lansing, Michigan. We will meet in Lansing, Michigan. He will give me a guitar and I will deliver the guitar because it's veteran
Wow.
to veteran to veteran. And I'm not going to mail it in the mail because this is to a veteran, dude. This is
Yeah.
out of love and out of respect. You served our country. I will do this. I will do this for you because I fucking love you, man. And I want you to take this guitar and learn to play. And if you know how to play, get better at it. You know what I mean? And if you're ever fucking blue, fucking use it, man. It's a tool and it doesn't cost you anything. It's donated, man. It's donated.
Wow.
And you know, it's a phenomenal fucking cause. It's a phenomenal reason. You know, it's just a good fucking thing. And I stand strongly behind it. I'm affiliated with another organization that is non-cannabis. It's called Veticon. My buddy Bill, old Bill's on there, man. He's a good guy. Damn good guy. And Veticon is basically like Comic-Con, but for veterans. So whatever you see at Comic-Con, same thing for veterans. However, they deal with a lot more art and things that you could sell. So they teach you how to basically follow your passion on making money off your art. I'm not affiliating myself with my art that way. I'm just saying I'm affiliating myself with Veticon. I'm actually getting ready to go to a show here coming up very soon. As a matter of fact, next week I'll be going to a show for Veticon. I'm truly excited because one of my
Get some
friends,
footage on that, man.
yeah, one of my friends is performing there. Yeah, one of my
Awesome.
buddies. Yeah, big shout out to fucking Whiskey Bound out of Grand Rapids. Huge shout out to those guys. If you guys want to hear a fucking badass band, check out Whiskey Bound, man. Especially like Western, classic rock, that type of shit, man. Fucking
Oh,
awesome.
good.
Dude. Check
Nice.
them out. My buddy Brian Johnson plays for him, man. He's a fucking phenomenal guy, phenomenal artist, just a great fucking dude. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, what started off with desperation and confusion and regret turns into motivation. You know what I mean? And basically goals, because it's the way you set your mind and how you think of things. Even when shit hits the fan, man, if you take it one day at a time, one problem at a time, one step at a time, you will find a solution, man. It just takes time.
You're right.
You know, people are pushing you to go faster than you're comfortable with, man. Tell them to fuck off, man. You're doing it your way. This is your life. It's not their
Yep.
life. Just because they can't control their life doesn't mean that they can control your life, man. You know what I mean? So you keep that in mind. Stay firm, stay strong, know what you can do, know your limitations. And if you have issues, if you do have issues, man, don't be fucking ashamed of it. I'm not telling you go on a podcast like myself and brag about it. You know what I mean? What I am saying, because I don't give a shit. I
Right.
don't care.
No,
You know what I
sure.
mean? I don't care because I'm very proud of what I've done for myself.
Yep.
And
As you should be, man.
yeah, and
We got to
there's
celebrate ourselves.
there's some people that are out there that hit that hard time and don't realize how much they actually have fucking going for them. And if there's a way into where we can fucking prevent that from happening before they do that, dude, that'd be a beautiful fucking, that's a beautiful dream right there, man.
Yeah, 100%, bro.
Yeah. And that's the mission. That's our music mission. That's my music mission. My music mission is to get out there, just to get out there around my local areas, American Legions and VFWs. And I'm doing it, setting events up with those guys. I surround myself with good professional people. So that way, you know what I mean? If I have questions, I know they're not going to fill me full of shit. They're going to be honest with me. They're going to tell me directly, or at least refer me to someone, and you can do that. You have to do, so it doesn't matter what you're doing. You just take it one step at a time, man. You will find the answer.
Great message, brother.
Thank you.
And Jesse, I do appreciate you coming on, man, and taking the time to talk about all this stuff. It's not always easy, bro. But it's necessary. We have a very small percentage of people who serve their country, right? And so we don't really have that big of a community. It's a lot. It seems like it's a huge community, but in retrospect, it's really not.
All right.
So the more that we can get our brothers and sisters to feel comfortable about talking about things, hopefully we prevent that transition being so rough and tough for others, because especially these younger ones, there's so many more educational pieces out there for them to hopefully not allow them to go down such a rough path, and be not good fathers, be not good husbands, all the things that kind of happen. And like you said, bro, you get out and all of a sudden you don't feel like the same person you are anymore. All of a sudden, this resilience we once had and this adapting and overcoming, we feel like we don't know how to do it again.
Right.
So, like I said, I really appreciate you coming on, brother. Is there any last things that you would like to say before we head out, man?
Hey, man, I'm here for you. And I just wanted to tell you, Brian, hey, man, thank you for what you do. Thank you for your service. You are making a difference, brother.
Man, I appreciate you, and thank you once again for your service as well, brother. And
thank you.
The service you're still doing out there, and you still giving a shit and caring about our brothers and sisters. You don't have to. No one has to go and take their time to do that, but you are, and we appreciate it. We need a lot more of you out there. And man, once again, thank you, Jesse. Have an amazing day, brother. And if you want to hold tight, I'll be right back there. Enjoy the crayons.
All right.
All right. See you, brother. All right, friends and fam. Well, hey, that goes ahead and knocks out another great interview. Don't forget, guys, if you guys ever need to get in contact with me, if you're ever having struggles, you just need someone to talk to, please email me right here. Every day is a Saturday, 365 at yahoo.com. You can also email me if you want to be on the show and come talk about your experiences, just like Jesse did. We need all the stories and all the experiences we can get, whether you deployed, didn't deploy. Everybody has a story, and we need to share them as much as we can. There's so many stories out there that we miss all the time from our Vietnam veterans, our World War II veterans, and World War I veterans. And as everyone keeps dying, those stories go with them. So let's not forget to tell what we need to tell. Also, if you haven't had a chance, subscribe to YouTube channel at EDAS, USMC Veteran. And also there's a Crisis Lifeline if you need some help, some resources. Call the Crisis Lifeline, 988 Veterans Press 1. And once again, we thank you guys. Have an amazing day out there. Don't let the day kick your ass. Make sure you're out there kicking it.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.